Hey, what's up everybody? It's the Crypto Ginger here. Just wanted to quickly go over some of the more recent news, and we want to start off with this article from Cointelegraph.com where we see that VanEck's new Bitcoin Trust assets total just $41,000 in its first week. Now, of course, this is interesting because we heard earlier in the week that VanEck had created an actual ETF, but that's not true. Their ETF, if you're the quote-unquote ETF, was actually something that mimicked that of a grayscale Bitcoin Trust, so I think that's the reason why we have now the reference of a VanEck's SolidX Bitcoin Trust 144A, and they're actually considered this part of shares that actually has now totaled roughly around $41,400 as far as net assets are concerned. Now, a lot of this information is coming from the economist and cryptocurrency commentator Alex Kruger, who talked more in depthly about the VanEck SolidX Bitcoin Trust and stating that it looks and feels like a traditional ETF, but because they look further into this and the idea of what an ETF is, they stated that this right here is also misleading. The VanEck SolidX Bitcoin Trust is not an ETF. It looks exactly like a grayscale Bitcoin Trust. So I think that, again, that's the reason why they changed the name to the VanEck SolidX Bitcoin Trust 144A shares. So until we get reference from the SEC that ETFs have been approved, we're not going to see really anything happening, at least for companies in the United States at this point in time. Now, interesting enough that we're talking about the SEC and ETFs, we have reference here from this Cointelegraph.com article that U.S. SEC Chairman Jay Clayton still thinks that there's work left to be done. And of course, he is primarily focused on the idea that ETFs, right alongside of the current market, is still dealing with, the possibility of significant manipulation. So if they were to introduce an ETF right there, we could easily see it being manipulated just like their current market. So until we get some sort of approval from the SEC where they see that the market isn't going to manipulate an ETF as bad as they might have thought it would happen, we might not necessarily see an ETF in the very, very near future. But we have another article here talking about how Jay Clayton states that he might actually see an ETF here getting approved by the SEC. And again, it's just a small talking point coming from Jay Clayton, but he is specifying that they're getting closer, but there's still a lot of work left to be done. So who knows exactly what's going to happen when it comes to the approval of ETFs, guys. I do know that it's still a waiting game at this point in time. And also as well, I do know that VanEck did not create their own version of an ETF as well. That is the reason why, again, I think it's being considered a trust. So very interesting news here, guys. Moving forward, we actually have reference here that Bitcoin deposited in backed warehouse protected by $125 million in insurance. So we definitely have at least the start of backed here. I know that we have reference here that the company started accepting deposits and withdrawals on September 6th. And of course, they are due to launch September 23rd. So everything is still a go, at least for backed here, guys. I haven't seen anything stating that they're not going to launch on September 23rd, but the closer we get to that date, anything could change, guys. But we are definitely seeing a decent amount of money being deposited into the backed warehouse. Again, $125 million in insurance, at least for the policy there, for any type of deposited Bitcoin in their warehouse. So that is a large amount of money when it comes to the insurance policy for protecting those Bitcoin deposits there at backed warehouse. Now, interesting enough, guys, I read something that stated that the rate at which Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are increasing might actually surpass that of the insurance that would be needed to protect those cryptocurrencies. So depending on how fast the cryptocurrency market jumps up, guys, we actually might see these companies needing to actually increase their insurance for these particular types of holdings there, just simply because, again, how much money would be poured into the market if backed or Fidelity is successful, for example. So something to keep in mind, guys. Another quick couple articles here. We have new analysis shows that every Bitcoin holder makes a profit after 1,335 days, guys. That's the equivalent of roughly around 3 years and 8 months. Now, this is something coming from bitcoineconomics.io, guys. And what they're specifying here is that anybody who bought at all-time highs, let's for example say back in 2013 when Bitcoin surged to roughly around $1,150, they had to wait until the price rallied in 2017 before they saw any type of major profit and maximum gain. So again, that equivalates to roughly around 1,335 days, and I think that we're seeing something very close to that coming up as far as the bear market that we just recently dealt with, and of course also as well with the Bitcoin surge price. We still haven't seen it hit all-time high. So anybody who bought back in 2017 at an all-time high still is sitting there on the sidelines waiting for Bitcoin to hit up to $20,000 again. So guys, who knows exactly how long the next rally is going to take when it comes to seeing those who purchase in at all-time highs that actually allow them to make some gains. It could be, that this span of 1,335 days is something that is commonplace when it comes to anybody making profits. So interesting analysis here. I would say that, in regards to this right here, I wouldn't imagine every Bitcoin holder had to wait this long. Some Bitcoin holders possibly had to wait less, but to see an average of every Bitcoin holder making any type of profit, actually after a 1,335 day period of time, that's an extended amount of time. And that should let everybody know that this right here is a long game, guys. This is kind of like treating, your money as a retirement type of process. You don't go to work and then expect to have a retirement plan, given to you after a week period of time of just having worked there. Basically, you have to work, years before you actually get that retirement. So this right here is obviously a lot faster than, a regular 9-to-5 job retirement program, but nonetheless, it is showing that Bitcoin holders are only making profits after that extended time frame. Again, roughly around, what does it say here, 3 years and 8 months. That's a pretty long time to wait, guys. And lastly, we have an article here from beingcrypto.com where we can see that Bitcoin could reach $425,000 if it follows the past post-halving rallies. Now, this is information coming from Rect Capital. They posted on Twitter just recently the previous rallies that we experienced for Bitcoin. And what they're specifying here is that the first halving gave Bitcoin a 13,378% increase. The second halving gave Bitcoin a 12,160% increase. And guys, if we have a third halving, which is supposed to take place on May 2020, so May of the year 2020, we will see another rally for Bitcoin. And if it goes up like these particular rallies, guys, we could easily see a $385,000 Bitcoin all the way up to $400,000 Bitcoin, just simply based off of the history and the math there. And I would guess that with the descending order of these particular percentage rallies here, the first halving being, again, 13,000%, the second halving being 12,000% increase, let's just drop it down to roughly around 11,000% increase, guys. That is still a substantial amount of an increase for the price of Bitcoin. So who knows, guys? I know that from now until May of 2020, we still have some time to see the price of Bitcoin increase. I know it's having a lot of lackluster at this point in time when the price also as well, all the altcoins and digital assets that follow, they're really slumping at this point in time, either going sideways or dropping a little bit in price, but we still have time. We still have a couple months to wait it out for the rest of 2019, and then of course, we'll only have 5 months in 2020 before we see that Bitcoin halving take place. So a lot can happen from now until then, guys. And of course, we still have, the talk of Bakkt to launch again at the end of September and Fidelity to be coming out. So who knows if that's actually going to increase or decrease the price of Bitcoin. My guess is that it's just simply going to introduce a significant amount of capital into the market. And of course, that's only going to be good for Bitcoin and then all of the altcoins and digital assets that follow. So let me know what you guys think about this information, guys. I know it was kind of long-winded, but just wanted to kind of cram as much as I could here about Bitcoin into one video. And of course, guys, stay tuned for more videos in the very near future. And thanks again for watching, guys. If you are new to this channel, please hit the like and subscribe button if you like what you see, and hit that notification bell just as well. Outside of that, guys, have a great day, and thanks again. Bye-bye.